And we here, and I'm a Cowboys fan. We've been doing this Cowboys thing for a long time. But I told you, I got that passion. I got the passion for the young men out there, man, trying to do their thing. And guess what? We've been having a lot of great interviews up until now, and I got another one, Mr. Aidan Armenta, and he comes from Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I'm giving it props because I didn't live there long, but I was born in Alamogordo, and so we got a little tiny connection right there. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to have a little conversation, and we're going to find out and let the world know about Aiden. So without further ado, let everybody know who you are, Aiden, school, height, weight, and what you're kind of doing out there football wise.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Aidan Armenta, quarterback out of La Cueva High School, Albuquerque, New Mexico, 6'3", 190, class of 2023. Yes, sir.
All right. So, you know, I was excited, man, because I'm gonna keep it real. I've had quite a few different kids on here. I've had some offensive linemen. I've had quite a few running backs. I've had some receivers. I had some defensive linemen. But I've been wanting. I had a kid on here, a young man on here before, Ethan Fry, but he was kind of dual. He played quarterback, receiver, and cornerback, and he's nice at all three. But he's going to be a
Right.
full time quarterback this year. But I'm asking you because it looks like this might be your position all the way through. Has this been your position since you've been playing the game of football or no?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I always knew at a young age playing baseball and football that I could sling it a little bit. So I think just coming with that, going into the team, I thought, best thing about playing quarterback is you get the opportunity to lead people in and day out. And I love that. Get the ball in your hand every single play. So that's what I loved about the quarterback position. I've been playing it since I was 7 years old. So.
All right. Well, I know you should be a master at it. So interesting. He says you were 2 6A player of the year as a junior. So what did that mean to you as a player being player of the year?
I think it means a lot. I mean, I think it just means that your hard work doesn't go unnoticed. I mean, all those hours you spent, all those times you were out there throwing by yourself, throwing into the net, all those times. I think it also just kind of speaks volumes into the players that you have around you, especially on our offense. Like, we have so many explosive guys that make me look good, play in, play out, that I can do a lot with, and just kind of just throw the ball around, then make plays, and I don't just kind of rack up yardage, kind of that kind of thing. So I think just it speaks volumes into the guys you have around you and the team that you have on your team that you have with you.
That's nice to hear. So that's you're a player of the year as we talked about when you just gave me some thoughts and feelings. So what are some of your goals heading into your senior season, both for your team and maybe some personal goals you may have for yourself? I know it might be hard to top player of the year, but what's your kind of thoughts on that?
Well, obviously, as a team, I mean, your goal every single year should win the state championship. I mean, that should be your goal from day one, and that's what you should be working towards. So I think definitely that's the biggest goal, and that should be the biggest thing in our mind. Some personal goals, I'd say, is just to be the best leader I can be all year, year in, year out, elevate everybody else's game around me. And I think just the personal accolades will come with that if we're doing the right thing day in and day out and showing up. And that's the biggest thing, just showing up and being present every single day to practice and doing the stuff that matters on your off time when no one else is looking.
Yeah, that's really big when nobody else is looking. So, what did you guys finish last year as a team?
We were 10-2. We lost to the same team twice. Our second week of the season, we lost 50-0.
Ooh,
Worst score ever in our team's history playing
uh-huh,
football since 1980s. Yeah, so that was pretty rough. I mean, just coming back from that, I mean, that's a big gut check. I mean, you're
right,
going to find out what you're made of after a loss like that.
right.
Uh, I think we just battled throughout the whole season, though. Just got better every single day in, day out, and didn't ever complain about the results. Just got better and stick to our process because we knew we were a good team. I mean, we knew that game wasn't a reflection of who we were as a team together, and
Hmm.
we came back, won our first round game in the playoffs against Volcano Vista
Hmm.
pretty handily. We didn't have a close game the whole entire year,
Hmm.
no matter what. I mean, it was either a high scoring game in our favor or against us. Both times we lost
Hmm.
till the end of the season when we lost 34-35 in double overtime to Rio Rancho
Ooh,
again. But I think it kind of just spoke volumes into the fact that we weren't that team that we displayed week two, and all the guys kind of just battled through adversity and never complained one time. And we kind of just showed that we should have won that game, and we were in a position to at the end. But football works in some weird ways sometimes, and doesn't always go your way.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't always go your way, but I definitely say y'all guys have some hunger looking towards the guys playing this your senior year. So I would definitely say you guys have them on your sights as you're getting ready to head into the year and take them down. Would be a better thing, man, to ride out your senior year with that state championship. So I'm definitely rooting for you in that aspect. But we were just talking about you playing the quarterback position and it being one of the most important positions on the field, especially offensively. What are some things that you would like to prove on, Aiden? Maybe mentally or the physical part of the game?
Well, playing the quarterback position, I think it's the most mentally challenging position, regardless of any sport. So I think just continually getting better every single day, continually adding things to your toolbox, and just being able to use things to advance your process, get to the line quicker, and be able to make everybody else's job around you easier. Being able to ID coverages, whatnot, being able to make audibles at the line, getting your team in the best position to win on every single play. I think that's the biggest thing. Just continually being able to up my mental process more than I ever have this next year, just because this year means so much to every single person in our community and on our team. I'd say physically, probably just adding that next level into my game, becoming a better runner. I think I can run the ball when I need to, but having that next level of my game and being able to do that effectively and becoming someone that's hard to take down, and so probably just getting a little stronger and getting a little faster into the off season, and proving that on Friday nights every single time would be a good job. Just being a true dual threat quarterback this next year, and making it impossible for our offense to stop.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to ask you. Do you consider yourself right now more of a pocket passer, or do you want to become more? I know you want to become more of a dual threat, but is that what you want to be known as even going into college?
I'd say I'm definitely more of a pocket passer. I think that
Hmm.
just comes with the fact that I don't shy away from any confidence in that category. I think I can sling the ball with anybody in the country. I think I can. Uh, I think I can just. I think I can do anything I can against anybody in the country. I can stack up well against anybody. But I'd say definitely becoming more of a dual threat into college, because I mean that makes it impossible for a defense to stop you when they have
Right.
to look at both, because it adds another element of what they're thinking every single time. So I think right now I'm more of a pocket passer, and I can run when I have to, of course, like when we need to get that extra yards on third down or whatnot. But I think just being able to do that more effectively and when I want to, and when the team needs me to, I think that's the biggest thing.
Well, I'll tell you what, your stats are really nice. Throwing over almost 2,700 yards, 28 touchdowns, folks. Only six INTs, man. He had a 121 rating. Kid is nice. Make sure you check out these highlights because I am going to post them on the page. So you make sure you check out Aiden because he got an arm, like he said. He ain't lying. He ain't lying to y'all. So don't just think he just pumping himself up. I seen him. He got an arm. And speaking of that arm, you went out to some camps, man. You went out there and you turned up a little bit out there. And guess what? You turned up so good a school offered you a D1 school where you kind of close to University of New Mexico, man. First Division 1 offer. How did that feel? Leaving camp, leaving with the offer from the University of Mexico. How did that feel?
Right. I think definitely just the dream come true. I mean, it's always been in my plan since day one to be a Division 1 quarterback at the
Mm-hmm.
next level, and just I think that was just it was a special moment for me and my family, just because I knew how hard I had worked for that opportunity, and how many times and hours I had put in just to put myself in a position to gain that scholarship offer. And I mean, I think it just meant the world to me. I mean, just finally figuring out that somebody wants you, and I think just getting that reassurance that there is a place out there for you to play Division 1, and that you're good enough in a sense too.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's not going to be your only D1 offer. There's going to be mounds to come. So we ain't even speaking on that. That's just the first of many. So I'm excited about that. But I know it was a great feeling. So also, what does Aiden look for in the school? So obviously, you want to have some schools recruiting you and you want to play some big time football. But what does Aiden look for in a school? What would you say what's going to stand out to you for a school, whether it's the staff or academic wise?
Right. I definitely pride myself in academics, and I think that's a big part in the process and what I'm looking for. I think also just somebody that wants you truly and wants you to be the guy for the next 4 years and part of their program and be the leader of their school, because that's what the quarterback is. I think just someone that wants you to take the reins and have an opportunity to compete for the job as a freshman, honestly, just because I think that's so important, and I think I have what it takes to end up doing that.
Okay. Now I know a lot of the young men are going to school early, graduating school early. Is that an option for you, or are you just going to ride the wave of your senior year and say, "I'm just going to go on campus at a normal time"?
Right. That's definitely something I've looked at. I think if it makes sense for me at that time, or makes sense in the future based off the opportunity that I'm getting from the school, I think then that's definitely in my future. But till then, I think probably just riding out my senior year, waiting to see what comes, and if that ends up happening, that ends up happening, and I'm ready to go compete.
Okay. Okay. Well, hey, I really appreciate you, first of all, jumping in and really giving me some really great answers. I'm really excited to see what you're going to do in the senior season. But I think we talked about, in the very beginning, as I said before, I was born in Alamogordo, New Mexico. I only lived there like a couple years when I was a baby, so I don't remember nothing too much. I just remember two things. This my mother told me. It was really, really hot, and the cockroaches were really big where we lived at. She just told me that that's what was going down. So,
Right.
but right now, tell a lot of people, because when we hear football, let's be honest, we hear Florida, we hear Texas, we hear California, always speaking about those schools out there and them being hotbed. You're playing in New Mexico. Let the people know out there what's going on with the New Mexico and what the football is like out there and how it competes. Do you guys play? Do you guys get to play like any California schools? Do you ever do anything like that? Just kind of curious from my own end.
Right. I think there's a lot of talent in New Mexico, and it just goes untapped. But I think the kids that do end up making it out and going to play Division I football or college football, regardless, end up proving that exactly why. I mean, we have so much talent here, and it's just we've been under recruited as a state for forever. And
Right.
I think that I've gone to so many camps and seen so many
Mhm.
players, and the gap's just not that big. I mean, you see all these kids, you see them in practice, you see them on Friday nights, and I think it's just like these bigger states, Texas, Florida, California, they get
Mhm.
the rap just because that's what they've been known for, and they have so many guys in the NFL and whatnot. But I think if you put more of these guys from New Mexico on a center stage, they prove to you exactly why New Mexico's up the ranks over there, and they can compete with anybody in the country, regardless of what position.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna keep it real. Just you saying that, I'm not saying you're the underdog, but I know I've always felt like I've been the underdog. And one thing I did whenever I played basketball or football, I would always go to the gyms and see the kids that was everybody was talking about who's who, and everybody know about him. I instantly wanted to go after him. I instantly wanted to play against him because I wanted them to know that, I did go to a smaller school in high school. I wanted everybody to know that I can compete with these big boys, even though they're talking about them. I can play with them too. And I guess I had a chip on my shoulder because of it. So I can definitely see it from that side. So, what kind of camps did you go to before we kind of head off here? Did you go to what was some of the names? Did you go to University of New Mexico camp, and did you go to any other, or are you going to attend any other? Excuse me.
So I started off on June 3rd. I went to SMU, and
Mm-hmm.
then the day after that, well, that first SMU camp was a mega camp, so there was over 150 schools there. So that was good, just to kind of get out in front of some coaches, have some good conversations, and
Mm-hmm.
further some more conversations that I've already had with some coaches that were there. Then I followed up going to TCU the next day on the 4th. We drove up to Fort Worth, and that was also just a really good camp because talked to a bunch of more coaches and got to throw in front of them in person. And I think that one was good just because there was so many kids, but they were able to get us so many reps and give us so many opportunities just to show what we got in front of all these different coaches. Then the next day we drove up to Stillwater, went to Oklahoma State for the day on
Nice.
June 5th, and that one was good just because I felt like that was one of my stronger camps. I feel like I really spun the ball really well that time and really got to throw in front of some good coaches and really got to learn a lot and just improve. And then the next day, I ended up heading over to Texas Tech in Lubbock, and that one was good. It was kind of the end of our road, so we were a little tired. I mean, a little
Right.
tired from the whole trip, 4 day
Right.
trip,
Right. Right.
whatnot. But definitely, that one was hot too. But
Uh-huh.
definitely powered through, and it was good. Some good athletes over there. But had a couple of my buddies throughout the whole trip, so it was good
Mhm.
just to camp with them. And I think just see that's always good just to compare yourself,
Right.
just where you stand at those camps, and just um, I think it's just always good just to compete with other talent from different states, and I think it's always good with those camps. So yeah, and then I headed back for a day. I did the Eastern New Mexico camp. I got it on the
Mhm.
7th, so I got a 1 day break. I did that one, and then that one was at my high school, and then I got a 1 day break after that, and then I had UNM for 3 days, June 9th through the 11th, and then now I'm heading up to NAU with my team tomorrow for a 7-on-7 tournament. We're doing that one on Saturday, and then I'm staying the night, and I'm doing a quarterback camp on Sunday. So, and then I head to UNLV the next weekend. So definitely a packed June, but definitely worth it.
Man, this man ain't playing around, y'all. This dude is making the run. So, Hey, you college coaches out here, y'all hear this? Y'all see this? You see this name? You better get to know it because this dude's about to be on the scene and let y'all know he's about to ball out. But before we head out of here, man, I first of all, I love the interview. I love your energy. You definitely seem like a leader. I definitely want to see how you're seeing your season's going to go. But who inspires Aidan Armenta? Who kind of just maybe when you get up in the morning and have this drive the way you do, who kind of inspires you? Do you have any role models out there? Do you have anybody you look up to, any mentors, anybody that you kind of say, this is what gets me motivated to really go hard every single day?
Right. I'd say definitely my parents. I mean, just every single day, how hard they work just to give me an opportunity to play college football or just do what I do every single day, fund all these trips and that kind of stuff. Just that's so important. And I think I just look up to them so much for that, just because of all the opportunities that they give me and everything they do for me. I'd also say my coaches, just because of how much they poured into me throughout the years, just especially my quarterback trainer, Rob Kuyath, and a couple others, Carl Barrera, Logan Barrera, a couple others, just because, I mean, those guys have always stuck with me and always gotten me better day in, day out, even when times got tough and you didn't want to show up, all those times when you're struggling, you like, when's this opportunity going to come for me? But you still got to go train, still got to go put in the work. I just want those guys definitely, just because the trainers always stood with me, that kind of stuff. But I think the biggest thing is when I wake up in the morning is just to drive against myself, just trying to become the best competitor, best person I can be every single day, and just trying to be better than I was yesterday and better than the quarterback I was, better than the person, better than the leader I was yesterday. So I think just that inner motivation and that inner fight with yourself just to become the best person you can be every single day, I think that's what drives me.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mom and Dad, you've done an excellent job. Y'all have done an excellent job. I'm gonna give them a big high five for that. They've done an amazing job over there. But finally, we was talking about school. We was just talking about maybe some schools that you were interested in. But maybe I asked a lot of the young men on here if you have it, your GPA. We all like to know that if you have it, and going to school, maybe a favorite subject, or even outside of football. So, what would Aiden want to do maybe outside of football? What would really appeal to him?
Right. I have a 3.7 GPA right now. Academics, like I said, I pride myself in that every single day, just being the best I can be, whether that's in the classroom, on the field, in the community, whatever way I can do that. And then I think just on the academic side, I think like the biggest thing going into college is I just want to be a sports journalist. I've seen all these podcasts and kind of like similar to what all you guys do. I mean,
Right.
I've always really took pride in that and all. I have a big passion for sports and I always have. It's always been one of the biggest things in my life. So I think just staying connected to the game any way I could after my playing days are over. So just being a sports journalist in college, that kind of stuff, going into journalism, and broadening my perspective a little bit and just kind of going into that field a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, the way you speak in front of the camera already, you already got a leg up. So I know you're going to do a good job and a great job in that and in football and just in life. Because, like I said, your parents have done an amazing job with you. So, guess what, folks? We really appreciate, number one, I really appreciate you, Aiden, our mentor, for coming out here and jumping on the show with us. But also, we want to talk to you, like I said, off the camera. This isn't going to be the first time we talk. Like I told all the other young men, we're going to do first before the season, mid-season, see how you did, maybe the goals that you were talking about, and then toward the end of the season, beginning of the season goals, and see if you met those. So it's something kind of we're going to chart the season as well. So it's not going to be a one-time thing. And also, I told all the young men we want to get at least one live session. We're actually going to have the people actually live so they can ask you some questions because a lot of people have the questions for you when we drop them live. So make sure you be ready for that, and we'll prep you for that as well. But once again, man, I thank you big time. We talked earlier. We stayed with it, and I really appreciate you being right there on time so we can knock out this interview. And I wish you the best in your senior season. I wish your team the best. I hope you do great at this next camp you're going to. Sling that ball like you do, and let's get some more offers out there for you because New Mexico isn't, even though we know you loved it, we don't want that to be the only one out there that you want to scoop up. So, did you have any last words out here before we head out on the interview?
I think that's it. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for giving me the opportunity and the platform. I think the biggest thing that I just want to take away from this is don't sleep on the New Mexico kids as a whole and New Mexico football as a whole, just because I think it just gets a bad rap and it's an under-recruited state. And I think that's just the biggest thing because I think everybody in the state can play at the next level. And all these kids they have a chip on their shoulder because of the struggle that we go through getting recruited year in, year out. And I think that's what makes them so great at the next level.
And you know what? I'm gonna be very honest with you. That's one of the reasons why I wanted you to come onto the show and the podcast is because once I saw it was New Mexico, I felt those same things, and so that's the one of the reason why I said, well, let's get him on here because I want everybody to in the world to know New Mexico has some athletes. They have some players that can compete with anybody in any state as well, and that's one of the reasons why. So when people watch, they're gonna say, okay, you know what? They weren't lying. They got some dogs over there, and that's the main reason why we want to get you on here as well. So great job. We'll be talking to you soon. I'm gonna holler at you for a few minutes before we get off, and then we'll do our thing. So for Big Game James, Aidan Armenta, quarterback at Albuquerque, New Mexico. Make sure you let them know your high school again so they can check you out.
La Cueva High School, yes sir, Albuquerque, New Mexico.
All right, and there you have it. We'll be talking to you soon. Big Game James, Aidan Armenta.